States. I printed it off. I'll even give you the link. Supreme Court of the United States. I printed it off. I'll even give you the link. As a matter of fact, let me give you the link right now. //www.supremecort.gov/opinions/12PDF/12-398 space _ 1B7D period PDF. Let me read this to you in case you don't understand what the hell's going on with this stupid ass shot. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that vaccinated people worldwide are products, patented goods, according to U.S. law, no longer human, through a modified DNA or RNA vaccination, /12-398 space _ 1B7D period PDF. Let me read this to you in case you don't understand what the hell's going on with this stupid ass shot. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that vaccinated people worldwide are products, patented goods, according to U.S. law, no longer human, through a modified DNA or RNA vaccination, the mRNA vaccination. The person ceases to be human and becomes the owner of the holder of the modified gen vaccination patents because they have their own genome and are no longer human, without natural people in parentheses, but transhuman. So a category that does not exist in human rights. Did you hear that? A category that does not exist in human rights. The quality of a natural person and all related rights are lost. No rights, freedoms, and liberties. No religious exemptions, nothing, because you've been turned into a person, not a man or a woman. You think I've been joking? I've been telling you guys.
And that's another thing. I remember not too long ago, they was asking the Supreme Court justice what's the definition of a woman, and they couldn't even give them a definition. This place is spiritually Sodom and Egypt, man. These people have purpose to cut us off from our power, man, from the Lord. Psalms chapter 2, man. All right. What did it say? It says that they may cut them off from the Lord, pretty much. This is, let's look it up. Psalms. Psalms chapter 2. And at the end of it, it says, no, let's start at the beginning, Salakia. It says, why do the heathen rage? Psalms 2:1, right? And the people imagine a vain thing. The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord. And that's what they do. That whenever you try to force man with man and woman with woman and transhumanism and force something inside of somebody's body that changes their DNA and all these things, you're pushing them away from the Lord, man. You know, you experimenting on things. You got all types of wicked things going on. All right, out of your wicked heart, Esau, Edom. This man is the devil, man. So they're against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, let us break their bands asunder and cast away their cords from us. All right, they want to break your bands asunder and cast away your cord. All right, so your cord, if you had a cord, you know, pretty much whenever I think about this, I think about like how you plug in, like, you know, a socket, you plug it like a light socket, you turn the lamp on or whatever, or, you know, pretty much we are, you know, not only did we go away from the Lord, that's why these curses are on us, but these devils forcefully force you away from the Most High, man. They put snares and traps in your way. All right, like for instance, like you know, pride. You know what they're doing with the children, like in certain. There's been countless videos of, you know, they, you know, setting up, you know, forcing the children pretty much to be homosexuals, man. You know, got all types of weird, nasty kids' books inside the libraries at these schools. All right, teach them how to, you know, be GAY or whatever else, man. All right, that's forcing people away from the Lord. You force it to the point where even these churches over the last, I don't know how many years, it's been a while, it's been a long time. Churches, they do same-sex marriages and all. How can you think that you have any part in the Lord? But this is what America pushes. This is that cup, man, that they push on you ultimately to cast away your cords from the Lord. All right, from that, our power. All right, cut your cords off, man. From Yahawashi.
One thing for sure, I can tell you who's not on that.
Supreme Court of the United States. I printed it off. I'll even give you the link. Matter of fact, let me give you the link right now. //www.supremecort.gov/opinions/12PDF/12-398 /1B7D Let me read this to you, in case you don't understand what the hell's going on with this stupid-ass shot. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that vaccinated people worldwide are products, patented goods, according to U.S. law, no longer human. Through a modified DNA... Supreme
I gotta
Court
hear
of the
it.
United States. I printed it off. I'll even give you the link. Matter of fact, let me give you the link right now. //www.supremecort.gov/opinions/12PDF/12-398 /1B7D.PDF. Let me read this to you, in case you don't understand what the hell's going on with this stupid-ass shot. In the U.S., the Supreme Court has ruled that vaccinated people worldwide are products, patented goods, according to U.S. law, no longer human.
Patented goods, no longer human. That sounds a lot like the MOTB. Even though we know that it's not. But this is that technology that they're bringing into the world to force you totally away from the Lord, man. Be a slave to this devil, Esau, Edom. All right, and the MOTB is coming, man. But that sounds a lot like, goodness gracious, man. Anyway, Shalom. Oh, hold up.
By DNA or RNA.
One thing for sure, I can tell you who's not on Epstein's list. Nobody black, no immigrants, no trans. There's no diversity in this pedophile ring. No DEI. This is a game for rich, old white dudes. The largest demographic in America, the number one registered sex offenders in America. Registered sex offenders are middle-aged white dudes. This is their game. And if you let this stuff slide, you have a favorite pedophile. That's the game you playing. I don't care who did what. I don't care if I like their music, their politics. I don't care if I like their movies. If you did this, to me, you're a pedophile and you should suffer the consequences of the law. Because unlike a lot of people, like Megyn Kelly, or like all of these people who are excusing this, I ain't got a favorite pedophile. That's not a game I'm willing to pay. That's going to be on Netflix soon. My favorite pedophile. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na.
Yeah, because they're just they're not doing anything about it, man. They just put it in your face like, what you gonna do about it? Yeah, we are pedophiles. What you gonna do about it? Yeah, that's how they just put it in your face. Yeah, we worship the devil. Yeah, we sacrifice children. What you gonna do about it, right? Yeah, people are about to go crazy on you, devil, man. People want to kill you, man. Hold up.
The States has stated that we will no longer be allowing cameras to record coffins coming from the Middle East of soldiers who have been killed. And before you happy fucks jump in my goddamn comments saying, oh, well, that's out of respect for the families, let me tell you something. I was in the military and I also used to do funeral detail. They usually bring them to large international airports like O'Hare. Thousands of people have cameras. That means they are going to probably be sending bodies back to the States in private aircrafts at private airports where they will strictly prohibit camera footage of the coffins coming off these planes, because we are at that stage, everybody, where the United States of fucking America is going to hide how many soldiers are dying in a war for another fucking country. This is, hit this motherfucking point, because
See?
Yo,
people mad, man.
The United States has stated.
Everybody going through the rabbit hole? The whole United States is, we the people are. I have a team of 40 people digging. We've had countless of hours. I went 20 hours straight in, and this is the most sickening thing in the world that I've ever seen in my life. And all I got to say is that everybody's saying nobody's going to do anything about it. Well, I promise you what, the people sure are. They've been eating our kids for years. The Illuminati isn't no joke. There's 100.
So he said, let's just go back.
They've been eating our kids for years, saying nobody's going to straight in, and this is the most sickening thing in the world that I've ever seen in my life. And all I got to say is that everybody's saying nobody's going to do anything about it. Well, I promise you what, the people sure are.
Yeah, see, everybody's saying nobody's going to do anything about it. There's people in the background, they ready for this shit to pop off, man. Civil war is coming, man. I just put up another video. I'm doing another one right now, just putting the videos together. I don't even know if I got any scriptures. But these are all warnings, man. All right? Warnings from the Lord, man. All right? Check this out, man. Them small hats getting exposed. See? This is why Americans, you know, these white Christians, you know, mostly they're against these small hats, man. They're against them, man. This what they about. Listen to this.
Check this out, okay?
The word goyim in Hebrew means a non-Jew in English. Sophorim 15.
We're non-Jews.
Even the best of goyim should all be killed. Yebamoth 98a. All children of goyim are animals. Baba Mesia 114b. Gentiles goys are not humans. They are beasts. Gachaz 2. A Jew may violate but not marry a non-Jew girl.
Makes sense with everything with Epstein, huh? Look.
A Jew may have sex with a child as long as the child is less than 9 years old. Tospot
Their religion.
84b. If you eat with a goy is the same as eating with a dog. Baba Mesia 24a. If a Jew finds an object lost by a goy, it does not have to.
Let's wake up, friends. Has nothing to do with someone being a, quote, Jew. Has everything to do with their fruits, as Jesus said.
Worst energy crisis in modern history. But that's not the... Look, I'm not trying to scare you, but there's a lot going on right now that is not making it to the news. This right here is in Australia.
So Sienna and I have just come to Coles to literally get popcorn. And look, there's nothing. Look at the shelves here in Darwin. What the...
Right now, everybody's focused in on this war that's happening with Iran and how they blocked the Strait of Hormuz, where 20% of the world's oil and gas is supposed to be flowing through, but it's not at the moment. This is causing some really big problems. People in India are fighting over gas. Australia's energy minister has said that they have about 38 days of gas and 30 days of diesel left in their reserves. The Philippines declared a state of energy emergency, and the International Energy Agency is saying this is the worst energy crisis in modern history. But that's not the full story. What people haven't been talking about is the fact that 30% of the world's seaborne fertilizer trade also passes through the Strait of Hormuz. Prices for that primary fertilizer called urea is already up 30%, and you better believe that's going to show up in your food prices. And unlike with oil, there's no international reserves of fertilizer that can just be released to relieve some of the pressure. Right now, the United Nations World Food Program is saying that around 45 million additional people could be pushed into acute hunger due to rising food and fuel costs and supply chain disruptions. And for all my Westerners who think that this isn't going to affect you, listen up. All of this is happening right at the beginning of the planting season in the Northern Hemisphere. Farmers are having to make tough decisions about what exactly they're going to do. Are they going to buy fertilizer or just sit the season out? How much fertilizer are they going to buy? What crops are they going to plant? And for some, this might completely put them out of business, right as the farming industry in the United States continues to consolidate into fewer and fewer hands. Another thing that's finally starting to make it to the news is that there's a wildfire in Nebraska that's already burned over 800,000 acres of land. And this has devastated grazing land for an estimated 40,000 plus cows, which means ranchers are also going to be under a lot of pressure to figure out how they're going to feed these cows. Jeffrey Snyder, the founder of Eurodollar University and a popular analyst here on Twitter, pointed out that we also need to think about the fact that the biggest concern doesn't have to show up in food and gas prices. History tells us that this spike in the price of oil might actually come at the cost of your job. We know that the economy in the U.S. already isn't in the best spot, so any extra pressure, businesses might just start cutting workers as they're also raising prices. Look, I don't want you to be scared. I just want you to be prepared. The major signal for me is whether or not the Strait of Hormuz opens back up and these ships start flowing in this region again. Not what these world leaders are talking about. All they're doing is yapping, trying to manage reputation and also manipulating financial markets so they
can what, right? They manipulating financial markets, man. The Lord is shaking his hand over this whole freaking place, man. I'll leave you with a scripture. This is that was a lot, man. Isaiah 19 and 16, it says, "In that day shall Egypt be likened unto women," talking about America, "and it shall fear, and it shall be afraid and fear." Let me read it again. Isaiah 19, chapter 19, verse 16. "In that day shall Egypt be like unto women." Right. You know, there's another scripture that can link up with that one. In the book of Nahum, which it speaks about that same kind of situation. Nahum, right? We're gonna go back, but I just got to do this real quick. Nahum 3. No, is it up here? Yeah, Nahum 3 and 13. "Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women." And then that links up with another one that says, "They shall be in pangs." No, it says, Jacob's trouble. The Jacob's trouble scripture. It says, "Behold, thy people in the midst of thee are women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies." That's Isaiah or Jeremiah 51. The fanners. "The fire shall devour thy bars." Yeah, so the Lord is doing a mighty work, man. Isaiah 19 and 16. "In that day shall Egypt, aka America, be likened unto women, and it shall be afraid and fear," right? "Because of the shaking of the hand of the Lord of hosts, which he shaketh over it." The Lord's doing all these things, man. It's the Lord that's doing it. Yeah, so anyway, hey, Shalom.